With the chaos that is March Madness just now settling and the NBA playoffs beginning to kick off, it had me wondering, how far has each seed from each conference gone in NBA playoff history? We all know the NBA and the NBA playoffs is not anywhere near comparable to college basketball and March Madness, especially when it comes to upsets. But just how rare is it for upsets to occur in the NBA playoffs? Today in this video, we're going to find out just that, and if you stay till the end, there is a lower seed that once upon a time defied all expectations and somehow, some way, made an appearance in the NBA Finals. Speaking of the NBA playoffs, this video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, an app that allows you to choose higher or lower on NBA player stats night in and night out. And with the opening round of the NBA playoffs in full swing, there hasn't been a more fun time to get in on the action. Here's an entry I hit $250 on a couple nights ago. Check out the community tab on my channel. I post daily entries there if you want to get in on the action. Sign up with code Hardwood for a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. A link is in the description, or just search Underdog Fantasy on the App Store. Let's start with the number one seeds from each conference. In 1984, the National Basketball Association expanded the playoffs from 12 teams to 16. So with that being said, we're going to be using data for this video since 1984. Over the past 38 years, a number one seed has made an NBA championship 52.6% of the time and has taken home a championship in 24 of 38 seasons, making that a 63% win rate. When you break it down by conference, the West and East have both won it 12 times with the number one seed, but the West has made it more times, 22 versus 18. Interestingly enough, the last number one seed to win an NBA championship was the 2020 Lakers in the bubble, which was surprising to me as no one seed has made the finals in the past two seasons. When it comes to number two seeds, they have a 30% appearance rate and a 21% win rate, winning a championship in 8 of the past 38 seasons. The last time a two seed won a championship was in 2019, Kawhi's mercenary year with the Toronto Raptors. After defeating the 7th seeded Magic 4-1, Kawhi hit a game winner buzzer beater in Game 7 to beat the Sixers 4-3, and then finally the Bucks in 6 to make it to the finals, where they took care of the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. A 3 seed in the NBA playoffs has only won it 6 times, but oddly enough, again, the past 2 years have been 2 of those 6, with the 2022 Warriors winning it last year as a 3 seed and the 2021 Bucks winning it 2 years ago. If you take a look back at the Warriors' run, the East was very even. The top 4 seeds were separated by 2 games. The West, we did have the Suns who won 64 games, but outside of them, the Warriors were 53-29. Plus, they got Klay Thompson back with 30 games to go. It wasn't the most surprising outcome. And then during Milwaukee's run in 2021, there wasn't a team that won above 50 games in the East. And let's not forget, it may never have happened if Kevin Durant had about 2 sizes smaller of shoes. But with that being said, to me, this is a microcosm of the NBA getting just insanely deep when it comes to talent. In the 2010s, we had super teams, a couple teams that were amazing, but as we go into the 2020s, it seems that there's going to be a numerous amount of teams every year that have a chance to win the title, which has been on display beautifully so far in the 2023 NBA playoffs. The West is completely wide open. A 6th-seeded Warriors, a 7th-seeded Lakers can make it, and then the East, you have 3 teams that have just as good a chance to make it in the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Celtics. The only 4 seed to ever win a championship in the NBA occurred long before our parameters we've set in this video, but 3 have made the NBA Finals. The 2006 Mavericks, an aging 2010 Celtics team, and of course the most famous, the 2018 Cavaliers that consisted of LeBron James and nobody. No 5 seed from either conference has ever won a title. However, the furthest a 5 seed has made it was the 2020 Heat, led by Jimmy Butler in the bubble. As random as that season was, nobody expected the Heat to make the finals. And while I don't know what Jimmy was doing off the court in the bubble, when he was on the court, he was playing some of the best basketball of his career. 4 other 5 seeds have made a conference finals in the 2013 Grizzlies, the 1990 Suns, and then the same year, the 94 Pacers and the 94 Jazz. Believe it or not, a 6 seed has won an NBA championship. It's the lowest seed to win one and the only seed outside of the top 3 to ever win one. And that team was the 1995 Houston Rockets. After winning the 1994 NBA championship as a 2 seed, the Rockets stumbled into the 1995 NBA playoffs with a 47-35 record. They overcame a 2-1 deficit in round 1 against the Jazz before beating them in 5 games. Then they faced the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley. After coming back from a 3-1 deficit in Game 7, Mario Elie hit a 3-pointer to put the Rockets up 3 with under 10 seconds left, which eventually became known as the Kiss of Death. The Rockets then went on to beat the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals before sweeping a young Shaquille O'Neal's Orlando Magic team in the finals, making them repeat champions and the first 6 seed to ever win an NBA title. Only 5 7 seeds have ever made it out of the first round since 1984, but only one has made it to a Western Conference Finals, and that team is the 1987 Seattle Supersonics. This was a team with 3 23-plus point per game scorers in Dale Ellis, Xavier McDaniel, and Tom Chambers, but they only had a 39-43 record. After taking down the 2-seeded Mavericks 3-1 in the first round, this Sonics team then went on to beat the 6-seeded Rockets 4-2 in 6 games, before getting swept by Magic, Kareem, and the eventual NBA champion, the Los Angeles Lakers. 4 other 7 seeds to make it out of the first round were the 1989 Golden State Warriors with Chris Mullin and Tim Hardaway, the 1991 Golden State Warriors with Chris Mullin and Tim Hardaway, plus Mitch Richmond, the 1998 Knicks led by Allen Houston and a 35-year-old Patrick Ewing, and the 2010 San Antonio Spurs, who, believe it or not, are the only 7 seed to ever win a best-of-7 game series. Just like the 7s, only 5 8 seeds have ever upset a 1 in NBA history, beginning with the 1994 Denver Nuggets beating the Sonics 3-2. To make matters even crazier, the Sonics were 63-19 that year. This Nuggets team almost pulled off another upset against the Utah Jazz in the second round before losing in 7 games. In similar fashion, the 2007 8th-seeded Golden State Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks 4-2. The Dallas Mavericks were 67-15 in the regular season. Some people consider this the greatest series upset in NBA history, and it's definitely hard to disagree with them. In 2011, the 8th-seeded Memphis Grizzlies beat the San Antonio Spurs in 6 games as well, before falling to Oklahoma City in 7 games. In 2012, the Philadelphia 76ers defeated the number 1 seeded Chicago Bulls 4-2, but to me this one is not nearly as impressive. It's actually sad. In the final moments of Game 1, with the Bulls up 12, Derrick Rose landed awkwardly on his left knee, ended up tearing his ACL and missing all of the next season. The Sixers went on to win the series 4-2 before proving to be a tough out for the 4th-seeded Boston Celtics, losing in 7 games. We've officially saved the best for last. There has been an 8 seed, unlike the 7s, that has made an appearance in the NBA Finals, and that 8 seed is the 1999 New York Knicks, led by Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston, and a 36-year-old Patrick Ewing. In a season that was cut short by 3 months due to a lockout, the Knicks went 27-23, putting them as the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. What most people don't know is that the Knicks had to win 6 out of their last 8 games just to make the playoffs. After matching up with the Miami Heat in the first round, the Knicks found themselves down by 1 with 4.5 seconds left in the series on the line before Allen Houston hit a game winner, sending the Knicks into the second round. After sweeping the Hawks in the second round and beating the Pacers in 6 while losing Patrick Ewing for the rest of the season, the 8th seeded New York Knicks became the first 8 seed in NBA playoff history to make an NBA Finals appearance. The number 1 seed out of the West, the San Antonio Spurs, led by 22-year-old Tim Duncan and David Robinson, proved to be too much for this NBA version of a Cinderella story, defeating the Knicks in 5 games. And there you have it, how far each seed has ever made it in the NBA playoffs. I really think in the 2020s, at some point in this decade, we're going to see a 7 seed win a championship. We may even see an 8 seed win a championship. The NBA is getting so deep, and if load management continues to be a thing, there's going to be teams with not great regular season records that end up making runs. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy videos centered around the love for the game of basketball, check out this video that the YouTube algorithm thinks that you will like. And as always, we'll see you on the hardwood.